A little while back when we were on our haunted hospital kick, creepy hospital stories, somebody had requested in the comments that I talk about Wyoming State Hospital, otherwise known as Wyoming Insane Asylum. I decided to look into that one today, and boy, is it a doozy. Buckle up. Wyoming State Hospital was established in 1896, which is 4 years before Wyoming even became a state. And it has a buku amount of dark history, scary stories, haunted folklore, and I can completely understand why when you look at some of the allegations and lawsuits, reports around that property. Now, if any of you guys are into dark history, you know that oftentimes state hospitals, penitentiaries, insane asylums were just a means of separating people they deemed to be mentally unwell or insane, quote unquote, from society. They just ostracized them, quarantined them in these places. They were often subjected to absolutely horrific living conditions, abuse, just inhumane treatment. And around the time that Wyoming State Hospital was established, there was a new wave, if you will, of moral philosophy from what I found online, where they decided not just to use these places as a means to separate these individuals from society, but to begin treating their illnesses. Wyoming State Hospital used several barbaric and inhumane methods to begin treating their patients. A few examples include psychotropic drug therapy, lobotomies, electroshock therapy, insulin-induced comas, awful stuff. From what I could find, this resulted in obviously the suffering of so many innocent people and the deaths of many patients. There is a cemetery for Wyoming State Hospital that is not on the property, but not too far away. And from what I read online, there are currently 598 grave markers. Hey, this is Editing Haley. Super quick, a reference for the rest of the video. I looked into this a little bit more before posting. This hospital actually recently got shut down. So it sounded like they needed to be. For the rest of the video, just keep in mind when I'm talking about present day, they're currently caring for 100 patients. No, not anymore. This hospital is still in operation today, and while it is under threat of being shut down, they are currently caring for around 100 patients, and they say that they now have what they consider to be state-of-the-art, patient care. Is it really, though? I'll let you guys be the judge of that. You guys can pause to read some of the screenshots that I'll put here if you want, in-depth detail. We're just going to bullet point it. Today, there are still a lot of allegations, wrongful death lawsuits being filed, allegations of abuse, neglect. The hospital is notoriously known for being severely understaffed, and that in itself is an issue because when you don't have proper staffing, patients are not receiving proper care. I know around COVID-19, they got a lot of flack for not properly separating sick patients from well patients, which resulted in a few deaths. Leaving people unattended that are fall risks and somebody passing from that, not having proper, food, water, medication errors. There are, I know, a few wrongful death lawsuits where they have pretty much OD'd a patient on medication, which of course resulted in their passing. And so it seems like there's still some fuck shit going on, in my opinion. Y'all let me know what you think. So now that we know the history and the modern day shit that is going on in this place, let's talk about some of this haunted lore. This is a place that is notoriously deemed to be haunted. There's one thing in particular that I found super wild. So there are buildings on this ancient property that have not been used in years, that have been shut down. One of these buildings, there is an upstairs room where the police have gotten call after call for seeing a woman who has hung herself like the whole scene, not just her hanging there, but like the whole scene of seeing her commit sewer slide in this upstairs window. And when people see this, they are obviously horrified and freaked out, so they call the police. Nobody's there. No patients live in the building. And after so many times of this happening, the hospital has actually put a sheet over that window so that people outside cannot see in and see this apparition. Is this a former patient who has taken her life in this room? All kinds of ghost stories. There are also underground tunnels under this hospital that I believe, if I didn't read it wrong, even go all the way into town, like under some businesses that are kind of connected to various places. But they used to use these underground tunnels to transport patients or food, things like that. And while these tunnels are closed down today, there have been numerous reports of paranormal activity coming from these tunnels, from the abandoned buildings, and from the buildings that are still actively being used and lived in by patients. I don't see how a place with history like this would not be haunted. If you guys have any local lore of your own, any spooky places of your own that you would like me to talk about on the page, feel free to comment or send me a DM. There's actually one not too far from me here in Kentucky. It's a few hours from me. It's Waverly Hills Sanatorium. It was on Ghost Adventures. It's in Louisville, Kentucky. Super creepy, dark shit there. If y'all are interested in hearing about Waverly Hills, let me know. Either way, stay tuned for more spooky stories.